everybody, welcome. Today I'm going to show you how you can upcycle some old bottles and jars into these really cute beach bottle lamps. Look how adorable these are. I've got cork lights in them. I'm doing tinted glass like old beach glass with dishwasher safe Mod Podge and food coloring. And then I'm going to do a quick tutorial on this beach painting. This is super beginner friendly, so if you've never done a beach painting before, you will definitely have success with this. I'm Cathie and this is Make It with Mod Podge. Let's get crafty.
You're going to start with a cleaned out bottle, vase, or old jar. You might have to soak the labels off. I'm using dishwasher safe Mod Podge and food coloring. I'm just going to pour a little bit of the Mod Podge into a disposable cup, and I'm adding a drop or two of that food coloring and mixing really well. You can see I'm doing a whole bunch of different shades of blue. I want to make a faux sea glass look. I'm wiping down with some rubbing alcohol just to clean it, and then I'm brushing that on with a gold 1-inch brush. You could also use a sponge here and sort of tap it on. That's one coat dry. If you want it darker and deeper, just add another coat. Once it's dry, paint another coat over it. Next, for the bottom, I'm going to use some Full Cart Home Decor chalk. It's bleeding through a little bit there because my Mod Podge is still wet. But I'm going to go ahead and just paint the bottom, and now we're going to do our little ocean scene. We're using dark blues, light blues, and some of that tan color for the sand. I'm putting that down first. I'm using a round paintbrush there, and then I'm doing the darkest color, that sort of dark indigo blue along the top, and then I'm using the same brush and dipping into my different blues and blending those together. So I want to have a nice blended background going from dark at the top and light at the bottom. And this takes a little bit of time. It works best with wet on wet paint. So just work it until you're happy with the colors. Next, I'm going to use a stencil brush and a chip brush. I'm tapping that into the white and tapping off. And now we have our waves crashing down, and those are more waves coming in. First, I'm putting down the bright white, and then I'm going to go in and add the darker shade over it. And then you're just going to continue to paint like this until it's all blended together. It's best to stop, take a look, and then go in and add some more paint and more blending. Sometimes I let it dry a tiny bit, and then I go back in and do a little bit more. Now to the bottom here, I'm just adding a little bit of Mod Podge, and I'm going to sprinkle some sand on there. You can see our little ocean scene is really taking shape. We're going to let that dry, and then for the top, I'm going to wrap it with some twine, and I found some little star embellishments, so I'm going to glue that right to the center. And look at how sweet this turns out. All right, let's go ahead and add our lights, and we can see it with the lights turned on. These are cork lights, so they're perfectly made for bottles. All right, next let's do a sand bottle. So I'm painting the top of it. Again, I painted some chalk there, and now I'm gonna base coat for underneath the sand with our tan. And the sand I'm mixing with glitter. So I just want to have a little extra sparkly look, so I'm going to give that a good mix. And then I'm going to use that same Mod Podge formula, and I'm going to paint that over the tan color, and then I'm just adding my sand. This is just a really fun, quick way to do a bottle. I love these for any kind of a beach wedding or any kind of outdoor summer festivities. Look how beautiful that turns out. And we got some cork lights for that. You can do the jars the same way. These will work with tea lights, either battery or regular, since all the work is done on the outside. Look at that gorgeous sea glass color. I just love how these turned out, and I hope this has inspired you to paint a beach scene.
Thanks so much for joining me here today. I just love how these all turned out. So fun for a beach tablescape. I'll be back here next week with another fun project to share with you, and until then, have a super crafty week. Bye.